Royal LePage says that more and more Canadians are turning to co-ownership to help them enter the housing market. So in today's video, we'll go over this article together and I'll give you my thoughts and experiences from my perspective as a real estate agent. Before I do that, leave me a comment below and let me know if you would consider purchasing a property with someone other than your spouse or significant other if it allowed you to enter the housing market or buy a better home in a better area. My name is Jessie McClellan and I'm a real estate agent here in Oshawa, Ontario. If you'd like to stay up to date on the real estate market and what's happening, especially in Durham region, then please subscribe to our channel. And if you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up because it does help me reach more people like you. This article from stories.com highlighting a survey done by Royal LePage recently came out and I found it really interesting and thought I'd share it with you. I'll link to the article below so you can follow along if you'd like. As interest rates and inflation continue to etch away at affordability, some Canadians are opting to break into the housing market with the help of friends, family, and acquaintances. According to a new survey from Royal LePage, 6% of Canadian homeowners co-own their property with another party besides their spouse or significant other. Delving a little deeper into the trend, 89% co-own with family members, 7% co-own with friends, and 8% co-own with someone who is not a friend or family member. In some cases, co-ownership goes hand in hand, roommate agreements, with 44% of Canadian co-owners also cohabitating, according to the real estate company. As a realtor, this is something I've noticed becoming increasingly common. I know in the last few years, we've seen an uptick in the number of parents and adult children pooling resources and living together in a multi-generational living situation, and I would definitely agree that owning with a family member other than a spouse is far more common now, and as homeownership became less affordable through both price increases and interest rate increases, the idea of 2 units or 2 usable spaces in a home became more popular for the average family, not only for an investor like it was in years past. This also impacts how buyers view potential homes and how they're being marketed. Previously, investors were interested in homes that could easily be converted into a 2-unit dwelling that could be registered with the city, or homes that were already registered to make renting them out easier and all above board. Now we see many homes being advertised as having in-law suites or in-law suite potential, separate side entrances, walkout or walk-up basements, or second kitchens. Now, the second kitchens having been built with a permit is far less likely and could raise issues with home insurance later down the line, especially if there was ever a fire, but all of those features are helping homes to sell for a premium over other homes without them to regular people and families because it allows them more freedom in what can be done with the space, especially if they feel like they need to rent it out later down the line to help cover some costs. The next couple of paragraphs just cite that for many, the decision to co-own a home is largely being made due to financial reasons, and that many made the decision after the banks started raising the interest rates. It also says that it seems that real estate professionals are wise to the trend, as well as the motivations behind it, with 25% indicating to Royal LePage that they've observed somewhat of an uptick in co-purchasing since rates began to rise. Meanwhile, 8% say the uptick is noticeable. It's definitely something we've noticed that more people are choosing to do, whether it's family members assisting with funds for down payments or going on title together to help them qualify, or relatives or even just friends who are trying to enter the market at the same time and realize that they can shop separately and struggle to find a small condo or something within an hour and a half of where they work, or combine their searches and find a bigger home in an area much closer to where they work and want to live. More buyers are having conversations about it and considering it as a viable option now because of cost of living, high cost of rent, and of course, increase in interest rates. By dividing the cost of a home between more people, Canadians can not only get their foot on the property ladder more easily, but also expand their home search to more desirable locations or larger properties that may not have been accessible with their budget alone. In that vein, 38% of co-owners say purchasing a home collaboratively has allowed them to afford a larger property or a property in a more desirable neighborhood. I think this is something more people should be considering. It's not going to work or be the right move for everyone, but as long as the cost of housing remains very high, especially in markets around Vancouver and Toronto, I think it's worth looking into. Aside from just relatives, I have seen this work really well for younger couples who are at similar stages in their lives. It allows people to enter into homeownership ownership who may otherwise have difficulty entering the market, and it allows them to build equity rather than paying a high rent in the same area, and hopefully helps them move into homes of their own a few years down the road. Of course, there are downsides and other things to consider too. First and foremost, you have to find someone you're comfortable purchasing a property with who is financially responsible. And if you're living together, you have to consider things like if you're willing to share a kitchen and laundry, if you'll strictly only be looking at properties with 2 separate units, and who's going to take the upper and who's going to take the lower. And everyone needs to be on the same page when it comes to the criteria of the home search. The other thing you must look into is having an agreement set in place. You'll need to speak to a lawyer and have an agreement drawn up that lays out what will happen in different situations and have everyone come to an agreement on what they think is fair. And the best time to do that is before you need it. And that's something you should absolutely have done regardless of how well you know them, or how long you've been friends, or how well-intentioned everyone is going into it. Life happens and people's situation change, and when that happens, everyone needs to know what the plan is and be on the same page. If you would ever consider a co-ownership with a friend or family member, or if you have an experience co-owning a home with someone, let me know in a comment below. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you'd like to stay up to date on the real estate market. I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you so much for watching until the end, and I'll see you in the next one next week. Bye!